Hi, let us discuss how to write an 8051 C program to interface a stepper motor with an 8051 microcontroller. Okay, so here the problem statement is given as a switch is connected to pin P2.7. Okay, so now this P2.7 will be used as an input to the microcontroller, and now the stepper motor operation it based on the condition of the switch. So based on the condition of the switch, now what we have to do is we have to monitor the status of the switch, and based on the condition of the switch we have to perform the following operation. What are the operations? If the switch is equal to 0, that means if the switch is open. So if the switch is open, then it has to rotate the stepper motor in clockwise direction. If the switch is 1, that means if the switch is closed, then the motor should rotate in anti-clockwise direction, isn't it? So that's the basic requirement. Of course, to proceed further, what informations basically do we need? Yes, we need the interfacing diagram, circuit diagram, isn't it? So the interfacing circuit diagram tells us, so what are the ports that we are using, and or to what extent we are using the bits of the port, and how the stepper motor is connected to the microcontroller. So this will help us to understand. So the port P1 that we are using here as an output, so microcontroller is going to give some pattern of uh, digital values, and stepper motor will receive it and rotate accordingly. Okay, now is it enough for us to start? No, still we need one more information. Yes, what information? That is the sequence diagram, isn't it? The sequence information. So in the sequence information that gives us what are the sequence that we have to follow, and in what order we have to give, isn't it? So in a clockwise direction we go from 1 2 3 4. Okay, whereas in anti-clockwise for anti-clockwise rotation we go from 4 3 2 1. Okay, and also you always do remember that it is not necessarily we have to start from 1. We can start from any sequence. Okay, we may start from 3 also. If you're starting from 3, and if you're rotating the motor in clockwise direction, then what should be the next sequence? Yes, it should be 4. After 4, 1 2, then 3 and 4. Understand? So like that it should go in a clockwise direction. Whereas in anti-clockwise direction, if you are starting from the step the 3, then from where it should go, the next sequence will be 2, then 1 and 4. Got it? So like this in anti-clockwise direction, we are going to have the values. Clockwise direction in ascending order we use, and in anti-clockwise direction in descending order we are going to follow. Okay. Now, so all that we have to do is we write a program to send these values to the stepper motor. Okay, so what do we do? First statement, we write the header file. So we include the header file called reg.h, which will have the details about the most of the constructs that we use in our program. Then also we give an alias for the pin 7, P2.7. Got it? P2.7. Now it is called as SW. We are using an S bit construct to give an alias for pin P2.7. So after doing this, then we specify our main part of a program. Okay, main function of the program. So in the main function of the program, what do you do first? First, we configure this particular pin to be an input, to an input mode. Okay, so how do we do it? By setting this SW to 1. Setting this SW to 1. So after doing this, next, what do we have to do? Yes, we cannot straight away run the motor. We have to check the status of the switch. After checking the status of the switch, then we decide whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise, isn't it? Okay, first let us see. We know that's going to be done rotating continuously. This entire operation is going to be done continuously. So we have the while one loop that starts here. So then what do we do? um, we check the condition of the switch, isn't it? So when you check the condition of the switch, we check for the what condition? Switch is equal to 1. That means switch is open or closed. Switch is closed. If the switch is closed, then what in what direction we have to rotate the motor? We are trying to rotate the motor in anti-clockwise direction. Very good. Okay. Let's see in what sequence now we are going to start with. Okay. So what do? We start with the sequence 6. 6 6. Got it? So that means basically the 6 we are starting with, isn't it? Okay. So that means we are starting with the third step. Third step we are starting with. Then if it is switch is equal to 1, it should rotate in anti-clockwise. So the starting is 3. Then what should be the next sequence? Next one should be C in descending order. 3, 2, 1 it should go, right? So next sequence will be C. So but before we give the C, what do? We give after passing this value to the port P1, then we wait for the some delay. Okay, so what do? So I have a subroutine called ms delay, millisecond delay, so which will be called here. Okay, so what do we have? So here I have a subroutine, it's called ms delay, and we are passing this value 100 into it, which is basically able to receive an integer values, unsigned integer values, so the 100 will be taken here. Then we have the local variables declared here called int x and y, and also there are two for loops that we are going to use it here, and these nested for loops basically, and this is for the second for loop does not have any statements to execute, so we are terminated with a semicolon, and this entire statement will get repeated for 1275 times. Okay, so 1275 times it's going to execute it. So as you execute this for 1275 times, if your value is 1, then it will generate a delay of 1 millisecond. Now as we pass the value 100 into it, then it will generate a delay of 100 millisecond. Okay, so now after passing a sequence value to the port P1, then we give a delay of 100 millisecond. So after 100 millisecond, next we have to give the sequence. What sequence we have to give? C we have to give. Okay, so P1 is given the value C. Okay, you can give it for only for the lower nibble also, you can give it, but still we have given in both the sides. Okay, C. Then what do you have to do? Again we have to give a delay, isn't it? Again we have to give a delay. After giving a delay, yes, next sequence. What are the next sequence in counterclockwise direction? That is 9, isn't it? So 9 is given here, isn't it? So next what we'll do? It's 4. That is fourth sequence is what? That is 3, isn't it? So after a delay, we are giving the value 3. Then again we call for a delay. Then we will terminate this part of the if conditional statement. Then what will happen now? So as long as the switch is equal to 1, this will get repeated continuously. So as you give this sequence, the motor will rotate in what direction? It will rotate in counterclockwise direction. Okay, very good. Next, what if switch equal to 0? Okay, how do you specify that? Very good. So you're going to use a else statement. Okay, so by using the else construct, else means what? Switch is equal to 0. Else means which is equal to 0. Now again let us say I'm going to start with the sequence 3. Start with the sequence 3. Then what should be my next sequence? Absolutely. So it is going to be the third sequence. So that's a fourth sequence. That is the value 3. Okay. So before passing this, what we have to do? We have to give a delay. So we have given a delay of 100 millisecond. After that, the value 3 is passed, isn't it? Then a delay. After delay, what sequence now? Yes, it's going to be the 9, isn't it? 9 we have given. Then sequence 2, isn't it? So that step 2 we are going to give. So that is what value? C. Very good. So C you are going to use it here. Again we are going to give a delay, isn't it? So if I terminate it here, this will be the else part. else means the switch is equal to 0. That means the motor will rotate in clockwise direction. As long as switch is equal to 0, continuously it's going to rotate in clockwise direction. The moment the switch changes condition, it will come back to the anti-clockwise direction, then the things gets continued. Okay, so here we have one bracket here to terminate the else part, then another bracket for the while one part, and one more bracket for the main function. Okay, thanks for watching.